Alright guys and gals, welcome back to another Gemini Scale Models video. In the last video I showed you that I painted the bottom of the EA6B with a white, glossy white. I never told you what the product was that I used. Anyhow, this is Tamiya TS26 and it is called Pure White. That's what I used on the bottom of the fuselage and the bottom of the wings. On the top of the aircraft, now you have not seen this yet, but on top of the aircraft I used this Mr. Color, and the number is 338. It's a semi-gloss, light gray U.S. Navy aircraft. So, this, according to Mr. Color, is the correct color that I need to be using to paint this aircraft. Anyhow, move that aside. And I will show you what the gray looks like right now. And here we go. Let me get to the other camera, be a lot better shot. Now it's a semi-gloss, which is good for when I start installing the decals. And I still have the bottom masked off. My next step, after maybe tomorrow, I'm going to mask this off, because this aileron back here gets painted white on both sides. So we need to take care of that. I'm waiting for some primer so I can take care of this stuff and start installing this stuff. That's why it's not on there. But while I'm waiting for that, and while I'm waiting for this to dry, I showed you guys how I was going to put and where I was going to put all the weights, and the weights are going to go right up in here, and I'm going to start doing that in this video. So, with all that being said, stay tuned and let's see how I progress on this model. Alright guys, I went ahead and taped it all off up here in the top, and I went ahead and painted the ailerons. I know you can't see the difference in color right now, but that is the same white that I did the bottom with. While this is all taped up and masked off, I thought I'd take advantage of that and mask off the rest of it and get the cockpit done. Now, the instructions say to paint that gray. I don't know if I will. I have several Tamiya spray cans of gray that I use on my battleships, but I have to think about that. I might want to change that to green or something, you know, like a drab green or something like that, and then do the pilots in beige, the pilot seats in beige or something like that. Anyhow, I'll make up my mind here in a few minutes, and we'll carry on with the rest of the video. Be right back. Alright guys, after this huge pile of masking tape, I'm going to show you what I got. So, here we go. I don't know if you can see all the different colors on here, but I did the green and army green Rust-Oleum product. All of this is all, let's throw this away. All of this is all rattle can. For the dark gray, I use this natural gray. It's EA6B Tamiya. Okay, so you can see white along here, white along here, and I don't know if you can be able to see the difference here because I forgot to take a piece of tape off. Let's get that right off. There you go. Every time I turn around I see a new piece of tape. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the division between the white and the gray right along here, and then again along here. So this plane right now, I'm going to let it sit up for a day or two, and I'm going to start putting decals on here. I think it's ready. The paint looks good. I'm happy with the paint, the way the paint came out. I might even do some body lines on here. I'm not sure. I do have the material to do that. Got to complete the interior, and then all of this stuff up here needs to get painted. Now, the instructions say that this little bubble right here, I don't know if you guys are going to see that little bubble right there. They say they want that painted tan, and they want the nose painted tan with a 1/2-inch black circle there. I don't know if I'll do that. The top of the instrument board or dashboard is going to get painted flat black. So, here's another little piece of tape I missed. Alright, with all that being said, Let's see how I'm going to attempt to do what I need to do on this. So stay tuned and we will be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, before we actually start doing some decals, I want to put together all the electronic pods because they need to get painted and some of them get decals also. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And all of this is on the A sprue. I can get these apart. And that's all of these guys right here. And so we're going to put those together and take care of seams. Now there's also some little propellers that go on the back sides of these. And those guys are right there. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start putting these guys together. So here we go. Let's take these apart. These are all the same, so alright guys, as you can see we have finished these four. Well actually we didn't finish, we need to put the little propellers on there. 4, 5, how many is here? 5. Okay, so there those are. And I could use a little bit of a cleanup. I don't know if I'll do the tops as much because they'll be up against the wing, but the bottom, which the seam line is almost gone, just on its own. This one here may be able to work. I'll sand them all down just to make sure I got a nice clean build right there. Alright, so those are done. Now we need to move on to these two guys. And actually there's 1, 2, 3. 3 of these. Alright, so here we go again. Here we go. Only a few more parts left on this sprue, which I'm probably going to be using up here really soon. Here's the little propellers. I got to cut them off after when I'm ready for. I'm not going to cut them off now because most likely they'll get lost. So let's go ahead and put these together. And I just might mount the pylons to these and then mount these to the wing. We'll see. Anyhow, we'll be back in a few. Alright guys, all my ECM pods are put together, and it says here cement pylons A3, B3, and B4 and B7 to position shown, which is down here. Attach ECM pods and tanks in positions indicated as you wish. So, because it says as you wish, I'm going to be putting 4 of these guys on here, and this will be the center tank. So, with all that being said, these will all get painted gray, and then I will attach them to the wings, and we'll see what they look like. So stay tuned, and we will be back. Okay, boys and girls, we are back. So now, I mentioned to you earlier that I was going to paint the ECM units in gray. Well, I changed my mind. I'm going to paint them in white because the decals that have to go on here are pretty dark, and I want to be able to see them because they go along the top edge. But I did leave the mounting pod gray. Now on this one, I'm going to use as the center tank, but it's saying right there to paint that red. So I got it kind of marked off. I don't know if it's going to look exactly like that, but it'll be red, and I think that'll give a nice contrast to the bottom of the plane. Anyhow, let me go ahead and do that, and we will be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, what you are looking at now is about 99% of all the parts have been painted except for the wheels. That's the only thing I think I have left to paint. Here are the propellers, and unfortunately I broke one because of the way they got these things mounted. They got them mounted in between the blades. They should have did it on the blade end so it's easier to cut out. Anyhow, they give you 5. I messed one up and I lost 2. Eventually the 2 will show up, but for right now I'm not going to let that hold me up on this build. Anyhow, like I said, I was going to change the color on the ECM units. I did. I changed them to white, left the mounting part gray. On these ones, I think those are some sort of antenna that's sticking out right there. I painted them black, but I still got to paint the tip. I'll probably do that like aluminum or something like that. Here are the stairs to get in the aircraft, and they are size specific. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me get my ugly pointer here. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the top is actually cut on an angle, so it has to go on a specific side. All of this, the landing gear doors, all white. The nose, I decided I'm going to keep white, and I'm just going to do that little black circle they say to do. Other than that, landing gear is white, and I am really, let me show you this. Excuse me. If you look at this, right there, that little design they got on that, and then painted red, but let me tell you something. I am pretty darn proud of myself for getting that pretty close to what it looks like. So, this is going to be on the center pod under the fuselage. Anyhow, excuse me, aircraft is all painted up and looking good. I'm really proud of myself doing these seams down here. I mean, it's not 100%, but it is a lot better than what it was, because this fuselage was tweaked pretty bad. And there's some blemishes in the plastic and in my work. I'm learning. Let's put it that way. I'm learning and I'm getting better. I got to touch up this gray right here, and also along the fuselage, the upper fuselage right there. But other than that, we're ready to start putting this puppy together and get it finished in this video. Alright, so we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, we are back. As I mentioned at the way beginning of this video, that there'd be certain aircraft that are going to have full cockpit excuse me, details. This one is not one of those, but I decided that I wanted to have some detail on this cockpit, so I decided to make my own seat belts. And this is what they're going to look like. And all that is a piece of masking tape that I stripped down to approximately the right size, and then I made a mold joint here in the middle, and just gave it a spot of silver paint. I think that looks pretty good. Anyhow, here's how I'm going to do it. As you can see, I got my strips here, and I'll just take a piece like that, and let me get to the other camera here. And I will take one of my seats off of here. And by the way, they are painted with a camouflage beige color. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put it right there as my connecting point to the back of the seat, which it will wrap around the back of the seat. Then I'll just take it and aim it towards the middle and kind of push it down a little bit. Get over there. I could leave a little bit of a loop in there if I want. So put that back in that corner there. Twist you around a little bit there. Push it down, and we cut it long. Cut it with my scissors. Right about there. Save that piece. And we'll push that down. I'm not going to rely on the adhesive on the masking tape. I am going to hit it with a little bit of glue. I hit it with a little bit of glue here in the corner and here on the ends. And I think we need to see if we can come over just a little bit with that one. Yeah, right there. And that's okay if it's got that bubble in it. Seatbelt's not always going to be tight against the seat. Alright, so that's one side right there. And then we'll take this other one here, and hopefully it's long enough. Come on. Alright, we just do the exact same thing on this side. Put them up against the side here. And then just run him down. Scoot him over to the center of the seat a little bit. Push him down. Come on now, get down there. See, that's why I'm not going to rely on the adhesive. Okay, we got that there. And then we'll just fold him down there. And we'll snippity-doo right there. Again, we got a little bit of a bubble right there, but that's okay. That makes it a little bit more realistic. Alright, now what we need to do, hold on, let me push this piece down right here. Yeah, there you go, right down in there. Like I said, we're going to hit that with a little bit of glue. Alright, so now I got another strip already done here. And we're going to take a piece of this one. And then what we're going to do here, secure it down here on the side, and then just run it across the seat. No, I want you back here. That's what I want you, right there. And come across the front like that. Just like that. Secure him to the side. And we'll snip him down. Bada bang. Tuck him under. And now, like I said, we're going to use a little bit of glue. So let's see if we can straighten this out just a little bit. Yeah, right there. That's beautiful. And we're going to use a quick set Tamiya. I'm just going to put a little bit back there, and a little bit back there, and some in the center, and then some down here. Now, what brings out the detail is I have a little bit of silver paint over here on the side of my little palette. I'm just going to take a little bit, and just going to hit it right there in the center, and that makes it look like a seat belt. Also, I'll do a little bit back here to make it look like that's the mounting point. And there you go. One cheap customized seat. So, with that being said, I'm going to do the other two, and we'll go ahead and put these in now. Before I put these seats in, I have some decals to put inside the on the instrument clusters or dashboards or whatever you want to call it. Once I get that done, we can put the seats in and say the cockpit is finished. Well, except for the joystick. And we'll continue on from there. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Alright, guys. Here are my seats. I think those look pretty darn good. Put it back here more light. Yeah. And all I did on the back was just tuck them into the back and glue them in. Hey, you're not a folding chair. And then I just touched the buckles with some silver. And up here at the connecting point, I touched it with some silver as if it is some hardware. Anyhow, these are ready to go into the aircraft. All I got to do now is get the decals on the dashboards, and we'll continue on from there. See you in a little bit. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I've got quite a bit done since I've been off the camera. This is the pilot side or the port side of the aircraft, and you can see that it's all decaled up and looking pretty good all the way back to the tail. Now, nowhere in the instructions did I see a place for this green stripe, so I used my model was licensed and put it there. I bought these decals right here because of one thing that I wanted in there. And the one thing that I wanted in there was this USS Saratoga right there. But the decals were old, and when I started to do them, they actually started to fall apart, including the first USS Saratoga decal. But I did make a return, and I decided to keep it because I had tried something, and it worked on this side. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you can see right there I got USS Saratoga. And what I did was I let it sit in the water twice as long as any of the other decals, so just over a minute. I let it sit in the decal. Then when I took it out, I let it rest for a minute, and then I kind of let it float off by itself. And as you can see, I was successful to get the USS Saratoga on there. Anyhow, I don't have very much more on this. Actually, I want to show you something. I got 3 empty sprues. What does that mean? That means there's no more parts. So, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back off camera, and I am going to finish up all the decaling and stuff. Put the interior together. And by the way, pick this up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but I did put the decal on the instrument cluster here. See if you can get a better shot of it. Looks okay against the green. I think it looks okay. Now I got to do the one in the front here, and I did. As per the instructions, I did paint this flat black up here. Yeah, so we're almost done with this puppy. So stay tuned, and the next time I show this, it will be a completed model. We'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. Before I get started on this part of the video, which is going to be the reveal and give you a 360 view of this model, the most upsetting thing that can happen when your model is 99% complete is to drop it. Oops, I did drop this model. And let me tell you something, that sucks, because the refueling probe broke off, the rear stabilizer broke off, one of the landing gears broke off, not the landing gear but the wheel itself, and they didn't just come out of their glue points, they actually broke, so there was a lot of drilling and refitting for me to get this to where it is right now. I just wanted, before we get started, I also had another accident, and I'm hoping you guys can help me out with this part. Let me get my tweezers right here. Hold on a second. Doing the last part of the build, which was the canopy right here, it's a 2-piece canopy, and they give you these. They give you these little shit. Oops, sorry. these little tabs right here. I don't know if you can see that little tab. There it is. And that tab goes into these little slots on top of the cockpit. This one, I messed up with my big sloppy fingers and got a glob of glue on there, as you can see. And I don't know how to fix that, or if it could even be fixed. So if you guys have any idea on how I could fix that, I would appreciate it. The second part of the dilemma is, because I was having problems getting these guys to be in the open position, that little tab I showed you on the other, well, because I had to glue this so many times, that little tab got melted away. And also, I don't know how to get these screw marks. See that little white spot in the middle? Right there? I don't know how to get rid of that on clear plastic. So if you guys can help me in that, I would appreciate it. Anyhow, the model itself was okay except for the fuselage. Fuselage was pretty twisted. I am pretty proud of myself on how I got the seams to work out on this model. To give you a quick view of the interior, and I showed you guys how I did the seat belts. But there's the interior right there. And there'll be some pictures at the end, because I know it's hard to see what's inside of there because it's so dark. Anyhow, let's see if we can get this going here. On this side here, as I mentioned during this video, I was able to get the USS Saratoga on there. However, the decaling for the rest of the plane is not for the USS Saratoga. In fact, this is not even the correct squadron. The VAQ-130 is not the correct squadron for the aircraft carrier I was on. But anyhow, I really don't care. Eventually I will take the squadron off of there. Just using some Salvasol, it'll soften it up enough where I'll be able to get it off of there. Anyhow, all the numbers and all the decals on the rear worked out pretty good. This one, I didn't notice it, but it actually slid down a little bit. That's okay. I'm just going to not worry about it. Let's see. Well, let's go a little further here. And here is the starboard side. And you can see they're all decals. Well, let me get it. No, the other way. This way. Yeah, there you go. I'm not used to this new toy. But you can see on this side here, as I mentioned during the video, that out of the 6 USS Saratoga, I only got that one. So I'm going to be on the lookout for decals for the USS Saratoga and the correct squadron, so I could change that out. Anyhow, to continue on with this, all the decals are on. I'm pretty sure, according to the instructions, I put these 2 decals in the wrong place. I think they should be more close to the steps. But oh well, you learn and you learn and you learn. Parts that got lost, and that went to Model Parts Heaven, was one of the propellers here. There's an antenna that goes here, and also the joystick. I don't know where they went. And there's also, let me get this around here, this little sensor right here is supposed to be on this side. That went to Model Parts Heaven also. Anyhow, this is the finale for this build. It was a fun build. I enjoyed doing it, and each time I do a model, I get better and better at it. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, inputs, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. Gemini scale models out for now.